How's it going, guys? It's your boy Stas here. Got my good old double espresso as always. Got the coconut water today too. Cheers. I appreciate you all for tuning in. As listen, the entire market today, believe it or not, it's down. It's down. After we've seen a lot of green overall in the market, you guys know the S&P's been hitting all-time highs. Same with the Dow. The Q's not quite there yet, but the Russell got close. Now we're down. The S&P's down just about 0.1, 0.2%, not bad. Same with the Russell, down about 0.25% right now, as the Qs are down just over 0.3%, as the Dow's down the most, down over 0.5% after hitting all-time highs. Literally yesterday, we hit 700. So we almost hit 55K on the Dow. Now we're slipping down, and mind you, we're still holding an uptrend. Bulls are obviously in favor. We're just cooling off. This is a pullback. This is just a pullback. Simple as that, especially on the Dow, the S&P. I mean, look, we just had a blow-off top on the S&P, all-time high. SPY took out this channel that it was in for a couple months. That looks bullish. Now we're getting the cool-off, which is healthy. The Qs, if we pull this up, this is the one where I'm like, ooh, maybe this doesn't look that great yet, because we are seeing resistance at the top of this channel, which we have been over the last couple of weeks, which you guys know we've been in this channel for a couple of weeks now. So not a terrible red day, but it is a red day nonetheless. And on the intraday chart, you guys can see it's been weakening over the last couple of hours. It's only, 12:30, 40 p.m. East Coast time here. So we popped in the morning. We had a lot of red in the pre-market. We popped in the morning. Now we're continuing the red. So we'll see if that holds. We have about 3.5 hours left of trading. The level to watch out on the Qs to break is about 7:30 on SPY. Obviously, we already broke, so we have to see if we hold now 760 to 765, which as of now we are. That's a critical spot for SPY to hold as support. And the Dow Jones, if we're looking at the Dow, I mean, this thing potentially could come down to 53.5, maybe. But you know, it's anywhere in this pocket it could come. It could come down to. But who cares? I mean, we just hit all-time highs. That would be a healthy pullback. And the Russell just hit all-time highs too. I just realized we hit 3,048 yesterday. So unbelievable overall push here in the markets over the last couple of days. So we're getting that little drawdown today. And a lot of stocks are getting hit. Let me actually get some of this coconut water, guys. Bear with me here. A lot of these stocks are getting hit, but we do have some big names in the green. Microsoft's up 1.4%. That's promising. Stocks like Coherent up 3%. ARM Holdings 4.5%, 5%. GLW, which I'm long, that's up 1.3%. SpaceX looks like, okay, we're holding the hundreds right here, guys. So what do you think? What do you think about SpaceX? This company just reported earnings. They crushed it. EPS, revenue, their losses narrowed. All three of their business segments beat the estimates on the top line. And the reality is this company has a lot of potential in the future. But the question is this the right price to pay? With all the shares being unlocked, in fact, a lot of them got unlocked today. 911 million shares today on August 6th, guys. Insider shares got unlocked. So there's no doubt they're a great business. This is going to be a key part of the future. But what are you willing to pay for it? You know, if they do what, $20-30 billion of revenue, or is that worth $2 trillion? Well, their market cap's not $2 trillion anymore. But is it worth? Let me actually see their market cap. Is it worth whatever the market cap is? It might be, based on the growth that you expect. But yeah, their market cap's like 1.5 trillion right now. Is that worth it? I don't know. For me, not yet. But if we do give it some time and let these insiders sell, whatever, we'll see how many more shares come onto the market. A lot of shares, guys. A lot of shares are coming onto the market. If this gets anywhere under 90 and the 70s, 80s, it might be worth looking deeper into at that point. It really might be worth looking deeper into. But for now, I'm not surprised it played out like this. Anybody that's been in the market for a little bit knows that IPOs often play out like this, and SpaceX, it's down over 50% from highs. What do you think is going to happen to IPOs that maybe aren't as hyped up as SpaceX, or maybe it just got way too hyped up, pre-IPO, they bid that price up, and now it's getting more, it's more at reality now. I mean, was this company ever worth $2.5 trillion? No. But it just got hyped up so much into the IPO, they were able to get it up there. And now it's getting more towards reality, but I don't think we're fully there yet. I think we could be coming down more. So I'm being patient on it, but it's up. It's up today about 1.2%. Disney's up 1.4%, which I'm not a big fan of Disney at all. It's rallying within the downtrend. Good for Disney, but will it break out? I have low faith that it will, but we'll see, man. Stocks like Nvidia today are down 0.1%, not much. We are pulling back here on the intraday chart. I actually bought back some calls I sold. I actually sold the 210 calls on part of my position. And I bought back those calls because obviously Nvidia's, 219 now. They're deeply in the money. So I bought those calls back to retain my Nvidia shares. Well, I actually rolled them over. I opened up a 230 or 235 or 240 strike. I sold calls. Net debit, guys. I had to pay for it a little bit, but it is what it is. It's all part of the game. I want to keep Nvidia for upside here into earnings. I feel like earnings are on the 26th, so we have 3 weeks. So 3 weeks till earnings. I think potentially Nvidia could run to 230, 240 maybe. Even 225 again, right? And for this to make sense, me buying back the calls, I would need Nvidia to continue to go up. Obviously, if Nvidia tanked, and by the way, these calls expired on, I think Wednesday, so I could have let them ride a little bit more, and maybe Nvidia got lower, but I didn't want to gamble too much there on the calls I sold. So I bought them back, and the way this trade works is I paid, $500 per contract to buy them back, and the way it works is if Nvidia goes up to 225, 230, me paying that 500 is worth it for the additional share appreciation that I got. But if it tanks to 210, tomorrow, right? If it goes to 205 in 2 weeks from now, I would have been better off just giving up my shares at that point. You know what I mean? But overall, I want to hold Nvidia longer term, so I didn't want my shares to get called away. That's another thing. That's another reason why I bought them back. But either way, this stock's at 218, 219. It hit 222 earlier today. Maybe it comes down a little more, and maybe I could have paid less to buy back those calls. I don't care, whatever, because longer term, I think Nvidia is going a lot higher, and I want to retain as many shares as I possibly can. So that's the quick update on Nvidia. Stocks like Toast, I'm still long. This thing's flat on the day, but it has been breaking out. I am up on my position. Finally, it's been a stock that's kind of been a dog in my portfolio a little bit. My average is $32, $33. And at one point, I stopped buying it. I could have bought more at 22, 23, but I think I put a buy in maybe a little before that, and I'm like, I'm done. I bought another 100 shares. I kept buying 100 share lots, and I'm like, okay, I'm done now. And yeah, it's finally looking pretty good. And Toast is another one that I have covered calls on, but I'm nowhere near as I don't feel the desire nearly as much to hold on to my Toast shares as I do with my Nvidia shares. So I sold $37 calls on Toast. If they get called away, so be it. Those expire on the 21st of August, and we're at 34.80. If they get called away, I'm fine with giving up Toast at $37. Again, my average is $32 roughly, so I would have made almost 20%, 17% on the shares. And I've been selling calls on Toast all year, right? So I've made a good amount of premium, and that adds to your return, obviously. So that's the quick rundown on Toast. Yeah, I'm probably going to get rid of those shares. I have a feeling it might go to 37 pretty soon here, the way it's been playing out. But if it doesn't, I'll hold on and sell maybe $40 calls. Eventually, I do want to sell Toast. Toast is not one of these 10, 20-year investments for me, or even 5, 10-year investments. It's more of like a 1 to 3-year play. And listen, I've had a target of $40 to $45. $50 might be pushing it, upper end of my target. That's been my target since I got in the stock. I'm sticking to it, man. If it gets to $45, I'm probably going to be out of this stock. And look, not every stock's supposed to be a mega long-term holding. Some names, you got to just be happy taking your profits and piling into a stock that maybe you have even more conviction in. So that's a quick breakdown on Toast. And again, today's not the best day, but it's not a terrible day. We're seeing healthy drawdowns in certain names, but stocks like Celsius are crashing 20% down, fresh low on the year, and it looks like it might be a fresh low on the 1-year chart even. Yeah, it is. So this stock's getting obliterated. They reported earnings and they missed EPS and revenue. 36 cents adjusted EPS versus 42 cents expected on sales of $817 million versus $870 expected. So double miss. That's never good. Sales dropped 12%. Look, the business they're in is so competitive. This is why I've never touched. Even though they got Alani. Are they the company that bought Alani? I'm pretty sure. Who cares? I mean, this business is so competitive. This stock's been out of favor for a couple years now, and they're not doing well. The proof's in the pudding. The number is there. Yeah, they own the Alani Nu brand. I mean, who cares? It's like, okay, they're owning all these different brands. I'm not sure. I think their flagship brands, obviously Celsius and now Alani. I don't know what else they have other than that, but the energy drink business, every couple of weeks you see a new one. There's so many. When you go to the when you go to 7-Eleven, when you go to Wawa, wherever you guys go, right? When you go to Royal Farms, I don't know where you guys are at, but when you go to the convenience store and you see all these drinks in there, I mean, that's all competition. And you see more and more energy drinks, and they cycle them in and out. And the trends these days, the TikTok, boom, bam. I mean, so much crap that influences this stuff. Influencers were, pushing Celsius at first. I don't know if I see that much at all anymore. Celsius was putting a lot of money into influencer marketing a couple years ago. I don't know if they're still doing that nearly as much. So the brand's taking a hit slightly. The business is suffering, and look, you could buy it here for a turnaround play, but I'm not in the business personally of buying stocks that are just constantly downtrending, hoping for a turnaround, betting on the turnaround play. That's not how I invest anymore. There were times where I would buy stocks like Nike, for example. Oh, I'm gonna buy Nike, it's a turnaround play. I cut that stock after I realized it's not going to work out. And thank God I did, because that was like 3 years ago, and I would still be holding it, and it's at $42, and I sold it at like 80 or 70, So if you're betting on these turnaround plays, sure, some of them work. It works some of the time. But a lot of the time, man, it's just you're going to be holding. You're going to be going through pain. Every earnings call, you're going to have anxiety. You're going to be. It's like it's going to be another knife to the heart each time it tanks after earnings. You're hoping this time it turns around on earnings. But listen, if management's actually putting things into place, right? I'm not saying don't buy any stock in a downtrend or any turnaround story. I'm not saying that necessarily. So take it with a grain of salt, guys. But I am saying if clearly a business is struggling if clearly things are deteriorating with Nike, for example, and they still are deteriorating. I just got out early, thankfully. But if things are deteriorating, don't try and be Superman and come in and be like, oh, I'm going to bet against the herd here on a company that's clearly declining, and I'm gonna hope and pray it turns around. I'm doing the right thing, I'm betting on the turnaround play. Don't be that guy. I mean, don't be that guy unless you're confident and you've done your research and you know, or your confidence going to come back. Don't be that guy. Okay? I mean, I'll leave you guys with that. So if you try and be a turnaround play investor, you're going to be chasing downtrends, man. And you're going to be, you're going to have to wait a lot longer to get your money back on certain stocks. Sometimes it takes a long time for these turnarounds to play out, a lot longer than you think. So you're going to be in stocks a lot longer than you want to be. And there's going to be opportunity costs involved with that. You got to be careful. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, join my Patreon if you want to keep up with my portfolio updates, trades, investments. If you want to be a part of my private Discord, all that's linked down below, pinned in the comments, or go to stocksurfs.com/Patreon. I'll see you guys in there. And with that being said, have a great rest of your day.